Welcome back. You're watching BioCell. Let's talk about Reliance Infra's second quarter performance. We spoke to the management at the sidelines of the second quarter earnings. Lalit Jalan, let's talk about the earnings performance. We spoke to the management about the big jump in the standalone numbers as far as the other income component is concerned. Let's hear out what the management had to say on that.
The other income, if you see a comparison versus last quarter, that jump is marginal. But if you look at the other income versus last year, it's because of significant additional other treasury income that we are having in Q2 of this year versus Q2 of last year. So it's essentially interest income.
We also asked the management about the EBITDA performance. The EBITDA margins actually came off slightly. What were the reasons behind the same?
EBITDA margins, if you see, is a mix of our three businesses. So that's the electricity business, there is the EPC business, and there is the infra businesses. So depending on the relative turnovers or the relative turnover growths of these various subsectors, these marginal changes in EBITDA margins happen because the characteristic of each of these sectors are very different. So you have an infra business with very high EBITDA margins. You have EPC, which will be at about 7-8% EBITDA margin, and you'll have the electricity business, which will have in the 17-18% EBITDA margin. So it's a mix between the turnovers of these three businesses. But within the three businesses, you'll find stability in the EBITDA margins. And on an overall basis, the EBITDA margins have gone up 15% over last year.
We understood from the management the quantum of price hike undertaken in the Delhi business, but we also try to get a perspective about the possibility of more such tariff hikes being pursued in the future.
The tariffs were revised effective July 1, and these included two components essentially. One was a tariff hike of about 22%, and then there was a regulatory asset surcharge of 8%, which was to take care of the old recovery accumulated by the various discoms. There was a slab of 200 to 400 units for residential, which was removed by the regulator. But when they found that especially consumers falling in the 200 to 250 unit consumption in the residential category saw a jump which was not envisaged by the regulator. So they had represented to the regulator, and the regulator has reintroduced that 200 to 400 unit slab with a higher rate. So as a result, and this will be effective from July 1 itself, so we will make the recalculation for all the consumers falling in that category and giving them credits for additional charges made by us.
We also asked the management the possibility of more tariff hikes in Delhi.
No, tariff hike is an annual event, and you must understand that tariff hike is for what reason? More than 80% of our revenue goes towards power purchase, and power purchase rates, as you see, are increasing rapidly year on year, and these are on account of predominantly increase in fuel and transport charges. So if the price of power supplied to us goes up, we have no option but to seek a tariff increase. And 100% of the power that we buy in Delhi is from central generating stations like NTPC, which supplies 70% of our needs, and then other stations like state stations as well as Nuclear Power Corporation or NHPC. So 100% of the power is from government companies whose tariffs are regulated. So if those tariffs go up, there is a need for that tariff to be passed on to the consumers.
Let's talk about Tata Motors. Apparently, we'll get them in a short while from now. In the meanwhile, we were discussing the results with the management of Reliance Infra. Let's understand the outstanding receivables from state electricity boards and the receivable position from the management.
The total regulatory assets recognized by the regulator in Delhi up to March 2011 is to the tune of almost 5,000 crores for both our discoms. And the number for FY12 will be an additional 4,000 crores. So there will be 9,000 crore odd regulatory assets. These are besides the appellate orders in our favor, which has been challenged by DERC in Supreme Court, which is additional 4,000 crores. So according to us, there is almost 13,000 crores worth of regulatory assets which are due to the discoms.
We also asked the management about the tussle with DMRC over the Delhi Metro Airport link. Let's understand their perspective.
The Delhi Metro is one of the best metro lines in the world and built in record time by us. We are very proud of this metro line. The line, the civil structures had developed certain major faults, making the line unsafe, owing to which after consultation with all the stakeholders, we had to take a shutdown of the line for repairs of the civil structures. These repairs have now been completed by DMRC through their vendors, and the line has now been put up to CMRS for certification. So once the CMRS declares these lines safe to operate, we will start operating these lines. We expect that the lines will start operations in the next in a short period, because the repair works are over, and so the critical issue was the issue of the civil defects which were discovered, and DMRC did repair them at their cost to make the line safe again.
Alright, that's the management of Reliance Infra commenting about the numbers. With that, we wrap up this edition of BioCell. Stay with us. Up next is Tips for Tomorrow.